Hello and welcome to the Free Cheese episode 348. I'm your Joe Dix, joined by Matt Zellner.
Hello.
The Free Cheese is a weekly video game podcast about video games brought to you once a week by thefreecheese.com. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Hello, Matthew.
Hello, hello.
You excited? We got 6-ish months till Halloween. The best Halloween, I might add, because you got full moon, daylight savings time ends, and the other thing.
Quarantine.
It's Saturday. Oh, fuck. Yeah, I forgot about the quarantine part. We've got a show this week. I know we've got a bunch of news. We've got some video games to talk about. We both beat a video game. More on that later. What's up? Are you getting excited for Halloween? Are you ready to roll? You got your pumpkins out?
No, I'm not. I'm doing like none of those things.
Why?
Because I'm holding out hope that the boat might be a thing in the summer here.
As long as you don't go next to people, you know?
They've already laid out guidelines for how that looks.
Good on your boat. Stay on your boat.
50
don't
feet apart.
Don't go near other... 50 feet apart, huh?
Yeah, per boat, yeah. I don't know how they'll enforce that. But the thing is, the first phase lets boaters go back out. We don't have our boat in. We're not, going to do that, but... The first phase of, easing up here in the state of Maryland is going to let the boaters go on their boat, but you cannot go to a beach, and you have to be, 50 feet apart from one another anchored.
Yeah.
So, I don't know how they will enforce that. I'm sure they'll enforce the beach because it's considered like a park or whatever, but, DNR. Yeah. But, I think the boat thing, I don't know, we'll see. But here's the holding out hope that I'm not cooped up in this house for the next 6 months.
Well, are they moving all the baseball players to Arizona? I heard about that.
I don't think they are. I think they're gonna. Do the playing the stadium stuff. What I wouldn't. Someone was asking me about this yesterday because some senator said that 4th of July might be the start of baseball and how patriotic and whatever. And I was like, okay, cool, whatever. But there they are. Speaking of, the Blue Angels are flying by here in Baltimore right now.
Congratulations, Matt.
I said the MLB can probably still travel around but minor league baseball actually might go to Florida where the spring training camps are and play their leagues down there. That would make sense.
Yeah, all right. Are you looking forward to... I mean, obviously you always look forward to baseball, but I mean, at this point, it's been a month since it was supposed to start. Are you over it? Are you still it's...
I mean, I want to watch something.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to suck not to be able to go to the games, but let me tell you what, I've watched more coverage of the NFL draft than I ever have in my life because that was the only thing sports related.
Just out of desperation? Or
kind of.
Yeah. Speaking of watch, we kicked off our brand new weekly tradition of gearing up for the weekend last week. And that's gear with an R-E. We watched Unfaithful starring Richard Gere last week. And then each weekend we're going to be watching a fantastic early 2000s thriller featuring Richard Gere. A couple weeks ago we did Primal Fear, and that kind of got us going. Then we did Unfaithful. You ever see Unfaithful? Diane Lane and
I know what it is. I've definitely
Eric Persullivan, aka
I don't know
Dewey.
if I've actually watched a movie though.
You should watch it. It's pretty good. I do think that I forgot to cancel the free trial of Cinemax and got charged $10. So there's that.
Or did you forget? Wink, wink.
No, I legit forgot. I don't want fucking Cinemax. I went to go rent the movie, and then it was like, hey, you can watch it for free if you sign up for this. And I was like, all right, I'll do that for fucking free. And I bet you that, because I saw a $10 charge hit this morning. Motherfucker. Yeah, it was Cinemax. God damn it. I swore I went in and did it right then. All right, well, cancel it now. You know what I'm saying? This weekend, we're doing the Mothman Prophecies.
I've never seen that.
I haven't either. I've seen Unfaithful 6 times. It's a fucking banger of a movie. But never the Mothman Prophecy, so I'm intrigued by that. Other than that, pretty standard week for a pretty standard month, I guess.
Yeah, what I've decided to do with the weekly rummy games, I take we were doing pen and paper, and then I got my iPad, and I wanted to use it, so I started keeping score on the iPad with the pencil and stuff. And then what I've decided to do now is file the games away into a special folder, so that way we can look at the collection of scores when this is all said and done.
Good.
Yeah, so...
The collecting data. I was doing that for something recently, too.
And then,
the good spreadsheet feeling.
But at the top, when I put, like, I say rummy and then the date, well, I write the date every day, but then when I get to the table, I'm like, what's today's date? Because I just don't know anymore. I don't know anymore. And then if we play 2 games in one day, I always name it Part 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah, it's the only appropriate subtitle for a sequel. That's what they're going to name Final Fantasy VII Remake 2.
I hope.
More than likely. Speaking of which, Matt, we've got some Final Fantasy VII, I was going to say Part 2, but no, Part 1 to talk about. We both wrapped it up in the last week. I slept for 4 hours last night so that I could beat it before this podcast started.
Pulled the Death Stranding.
Dude, alright, here's what happened. I think last weekend we got to the podcast talking about Final Fantasy VII, and obviously I was super excited about it still, and I knew I was getting close, and you had told me about the... I don't know if you said chapter number, so I don't want to say whatever.
I did say it.
Alright, so chapter 14...
So gave some hot tips. I was like... Gave some hot tips.
You did give good hot tips, but I was then thinking, like, do I really want to go through that slog right now? And I was like, whatever. It's like, those side mission chapters had been relatively doable. You know what? Like, you know what I mean? They're not... They definitely slow the pacing of the story down, but they're not... Once you're in it, and it's fine. Well, subconsciously, something kicked in and was just like, dude, you're not going to play this fucking game at all this week. So I don't think I jumped back into it until Thursday. And then I got through chapters 12 and 13. Right? Or days don't matter anymore. But it was like I got through those, and then chapter 14 was all one night. And then last night I did 15, 16, and 17. And I was in 18. I got through some stuff, and then I was looking at the clock, and I was like, I should sleep a little bit. I was like, worst case scenario, I don't have it done before the podcast. But I'll try and wake up at 7:30 and just knock it out. So, fucking went to bed at 3:30, and then got up at 7:20 something, and came down, knocked it out. Here we are. Ask me anything.
So, it was really weird because, once again, I'm saying this every week. Like, I know, and you know this part as well. Like, we know how Midgard traditionally ends.
Yeah.
So, I got to a certain mini game, and I was like, okay, I don't have whatever time to look through probably what would be the end of this game. So I stopped, and I was a little concerned because it did say save, but I didn't have like a proper save from the menu.
Right.
Thank God I stopped when I did, because there's no way I would have finished it before I had to move on to probably the 3 o'clock rummy game, honestly, because there's nothing else in my life. So I stopped, and thank God I did, because after a mini game and expected end, I saw a bench with a vending machine, and I was like, oh shit.
Yep.
And then thank God I properly adjusted the my playthrough of that, because I think I would have been pissed if I rushed through the mini game and then realized it's not over.
Yeah, I had that same thing where I saw all that, and I was just like, all right. And I looked at the clock. I think by the time I had wrapped up the one chapter, it was like 10:02, and I was like, all right, let me think. And I was like, on average, how long could this be? I was like, 2 hours. I was like, I can stay up till 4 and beat this. So I started, and I got I'm not going to go into any specifics at all, but I got through, if I say to you, I got through like a quarter of the way. Does that make sense?
Of that chapter?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I just got fucking wiped.
Oh, yeah, I know where you got wiped at. I got wiped in the same spot, and then you realized you had to start over. So
that was well, there no checkpoints in that at all, which sucks. And I kept progressively getting to the kind of one part.
Okay.
And doing that, and it just... So I was like, all right, let me go to bed. That way I'm like fresh in the morning. And I woke up and got through it much easier. And then the last chunk, it was once and done. The last chunk, though, I'll tell you the specifics later, but fucking nail biter. I was literally down to one party member and not my strongest party member. And I was like, fuck it. Thundara, or like just casting whatever I had, and it was just like, oh my god,
I think
so fucking good.
I realized that because like the limitations to MP in some of the fights, that like I was not casting the Agas much, and I realized I casted Agas twice in the game. One in one of the, I mean,
yeah, I know what you mean.
One in that end fight because I knew that had to be it, and then one earlier in the Shinra headquarters in whatever. But yeah, like I was like, I was always doing auras, and then finally I was like, you know, I do have Agas. I should probably maybe use them from once in a while, especially when I know like the end of the health bars right there.
Yes, when you did you use the, I forget which one it is, but the magnify.
No, I didn't fuck around a lot with the pairing materials, like the blue ones.
So that's something I think, so if you're listening to this and you're just starting out, or you're like at the halfway, wherever you are in the game, honestly, I think like investing in those blue ones really helps in the end. Because I did not, but the few that I had dicked around with a little bit, I used Synergy on Tifa, and that one is the one that lets you, if she casts an ice spell and Cloud also knows an ice spell, he'll then do it just without any I don't think his ATB needs to be charged, just like a free attack.
Did that cost 8 MP for him though? I
didn't pay attention, but I'm gonna assume yes.
That was my thing, because I was very deliberate with how I casted that MP and stuff. So I that's why I didn't really use that, because I didn't know.
It might or it might. I didn't honestly pay attention to it, but I know I had that on her, and I had Magnify also on her for a while with Poison, and that was cool because I could just cast Poison to a bunch of people. But by the late game, what really helps, and I didn't do this to the fullest effect because I ended up using Magnify for a different whatever, but using Magnify and Haste, so you can just to the party
auto cast Haste. Yeah.
Oh, it's fucking cool. Or not, maybe it's not Haste. I don't know. I don't know if you can combine Magnify and Haste.
The time materia has Haste on it. I didn't really use it.
No, but I mean, I don't know if you can combine that with Magnify or not. I think Magnify might be limited to certain materia types. I think with Haste, you can cast to the whole party if you use Aerith's AP thing. I forget what it is.
They change how they do that, because I know in Final Fantasy X you can cast Haste Aga, and it will do the whole party. But in this one, I think it increases the ATB bar. Even it just depends on the fighting system.
We got into the nitty gritty for a bit, but like my literal first point I had written down is that I love the materia system and trying out different combos to see what I can buff and what I can debuff on an enemy. And like that, by the end of the game, like through the final fight, the combat just continued to remain this fun balance of like skill and understanding of the systems and applying those systems, right? Like you had to appreciate and understand everything about that, and you could not just sit there and wail at Square. Like, you know, when we first played that demo, you know, a month ago or whatever, 2 months ago at this point, it was like, hey, let's smash Square button. What is this game? Oh, okay. Why am I even using the menus? And now it's like, I feel like I spent more time in the last 5 hours of the game pre-battle, like min-maxing all of my weapons, like going through and like because you kind of get there's like a wave where you just get weapon after weapon after weapon, and like all their like final weapons or whatever. Not final, but you know what I mean. Like you're getting.
Yeah, there's no ultimate weapons in this game, and that's But keep going. I want to expand on that.
But like you're getting like the last ones you can find in the game. Like I collected all of Cloud's, all of Aerith's, whatever.
Did you get
at
all
that
of
point?
Aerith's,
I'm like
though?
going through. I doubt it.
There is.
I'm pretty sure I
think
missed some.
You can get them all pretty easily enough, but there's a certain enemy you have to steal from to get Aerith's. I think 5th or 6th and final weapon, and I know I didn't get it.
I didn't. I never used steel. So, but that's the cool thing is like after beating it, you can go back through with the chapter select. And I'm thinking about. Did you do any of that?
I went through because the first thing they said was the Shinra headquarters have more battles.
Yeah,
and I was like, cool. Let me revisit that chapter and let me see what they got.
Yeah.
The bad news: you have to restart the chapter.
Yeah.
So you had to go through that slog and that part with Tifa and the climbing and stuff, which is like very on rails. There's nothing to really do. So
really boring.
It's not the greatest. But like what I think you can end up doing is like maybe make a save state inside of there or something. But then that save state is not like the greatest. I don't know how else to address it besides having to go through that chapter 14 every time.
I think like if I'm gonna chase the platinum in this, I think the ticket is just to go chapter by chapter with a fucking guide open and just play it that way.
Yeah, that's going to be the way, especially the wall market stuff, because there's a variety of dresses and things. It's going to be...
Yeah, the dresses is going to be weird. The fuck thing is, did you look at the like list of side quests at all?
Yeah, battle log thing? I peeked at it.
Did you see the thing? You hit the touchpad and you hit R2 and it shows you every quest in the game, side quest?
Yeah.
I missed 2, and they were like linked. It was in chapter 9. I missed those, but I got every other one. It just sucks because I was like so close to having everything done, side quest wise.
I don't remember seeing that. I didn't look though. I thought I had everything done.
The one I missed was the side quest for when that guy wants you to bring him medicine or. It's something in Wall Market.
Oh,
where
I'm sure. Yeah, okay.
It's that thing where like you needed to have the cure or one of the materials leveled up, and I didn't have it yet. Ultimately, my final take on the game. I mean, probably not my final take, but I'm walking away from it super into what I played and super into Final Fantasy VII, which is not something I thought I would ever say. Because I remember when I was a kid, I had a friend... I've talked about it on the podcast before, who loved Final Fantasy, specifically with 7, I think was the one, just like most people. And going to his house to see him play through it, and I couldn't play it, and I didn't know what was going on because he was playing it when I wasn't... You know, it was just like, I was seeing bits and pieces of it over his shoulder, and it was like, you'd kind of get barked at if you tried to talk during any of it because he wanted to see... It was just... My first exposure to Final Fantasy was a turnoff. And then for years, every time I've tried to play it, it's been like, I haven't been super excited to try it, or I just can't get far enough. And I eventually did get through Midgar on the Switch version when it came out, but it's still like, I got through Midgar and I was like, all right, I think I'm good. And it wasn't until, this remake that I really got into Final Fantasy VII. And now I'm like, what else can I do? Where else do I go? Do I go to Crisis Core? Do I go back to the original? Watch Advent Children a couple times? Like what?
I think you can chill on Advent Children.
Yeah?
I think so.
All right, if you say so.
I remember watching it as a kid, and I remember none of it, so that shows how well that was made.
It looks impressive. I'll give them that.
Yeah, it looks impressive, but I remember nothing from it. I remember being extremely bored for the first
That's how
chunk
that
of it.
The King's Glaive, or I forget what the...
Oh, yeah, the 14. Sorry, 15.
15, yeah. Yeah, didn't love that. So walking away from it, you wrapped it up this week as well. I feel like I dominated this conversation. I'm sorry, but...
Oh, no, you're fine. No,
Yeah.
So it's so weird because the hype level from that E3 trailer, I was through the roof and have continued to kind of feel that way. And then the demo came, but everything kind of worked out in my opinion. But like after completing it and kind of seeing like some ideas they may have, I'm like kind of almost equally excited for a part 2 again. So get ready for predictions of me saying it's coming out in fall with Death Stranding 2, like I have been the last 3 years. So, so yeah, I just if it's so fresh in every way, in some of the things they've done with the story, so even early on, the combat. The materia is like the same system, but it feels new again for some reason. I think it's just how it plays into the combat. And then like one of my favorite things with this was there's not like a linear progression to the weapons where, I didn't realize I missed an Aerith weapon until I looked up why I didn't get the trophy. And then I realized, oh yeah, and it's just because the weapons all work, like they all work endgame. Like I could use the Buster Sword in a way for Cloud in the endgame. I didn't. I used his second weapon. I used Hard Steel. But like there was 4 weapons I acquired after that there's so much you can do and play with the party and make it this thing. And that's why I like when you were talking about using the magnified to auto cast some of that stuff, and like I was so micromanaging like the battle, but I wasn't at the same time. It's incredible how they pull that off in a system like this where every second you should be doing something, and it felt so methodical, and I never felt like pressured. I felt pressured, but like I didn't feel like that sense of like, oh man, I'm taking forever in the menus and I'm getting killed because of it. Like in the original game, where if you don't know where your shit is and how it's laid out, you can get double attacked if you're too slow.
It gets overwhelming, but never like suffocating.
Yeah, and I also really I haven't really, like, we talked briefly, but I really like how the hard mode is attached to the chapter select, so I can kind of keep on rolling with this party. I mean, I can keep rolling with my levels and my materia and stuff like that, so I think that's really clever.
Yeah, because there was some materia that, like, I mean, like we talked about earlier, some of the ones where, like, I just didn't think about them until way late in the game. I'm a fucking idiot. There's one materia you get, I forget, it's the pedometer materia. So if you take 5,000 steps while wearing it and something happens is what it says. I didn't... do you get that after the stairs or before? Because it wasn't until well after that I realized I had it and put it on, and I should have put it on before the stairs.
You get it at the beginning of chapter 14.
Fuck me.
And I completed it in chapter 14. I forget what it is, though. Yeah, I kind of forget what it was.
That sucks. I didn't even fucking think about it, but oh well.
So, that part, I'm assuming you took the stairs then.
Oh yeah, did you?
Yeah. The first time through, I replayed that chapter to try to get back to the arena, and I took the elevator the second time. Stairs was much more satisfying.
Yeah, it's cool. Do you get caught up, like, in a fight or anything if you go up the elevator?
Yeah, like the original game, every couple of floors. But they do some comical things with it, too. It's sometimes the elevator opens that is not what you think it is, so it's kind of fun. Yeah, overall, man, it's just a good fucking game, and I'm super happy that I almost didn't get it, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't think it was going to be something I wanted, and I'm so happy that I bought it. And it's one of those rare cases, too, where I think something that was hyped since 2015, it panned out. Like the criticisms of the game it's never been like the gameplay or anything like that. It's always maybe about the ending, but we'll hold off thoughts on that. But
yeah,
it's more about that than anything else, and the fact that this is a part 1 and not the whole game. But
yeah, but they flesh it out so well that like, this was a perfect length, I think.
Yeah, like 30. It was 30, 40 hours for me, somewhere around there. I forget the exact ticker I was at when it was all said and done. I think it was just above 30.
Yeah, I don't know if I crossed 40, but I was close. I think I was at like 38 or 39, something like that. But it just, I mean, across the board, just a fucking good game. And it's cool because we were so fresh off of Doom Eternal that also had you thinking in that kind of like, how do I manipulate combat in my favor kind of way. And this is I mean, obviously very different, but it was still similar because you're moving around, you're thinking about everything you're doing, like everything has an impact, whether it's going to help you or hurt you, and you had to like really consider everything you're doing. Just a solid ass video game.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, I mean, for now we talked, we're probably going to do a spoiler cast. So you can look forward to that. We'll let you know when and where and all of that stuff once we get there. But other than our spoiler cast, I think that's kind of it on Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Until the end of the year.
Yeah. What else did you get into this week?
Weekly check-in on Call of Duty Warzone.
Aha. How's that going?
Me and the boys, me, Nick, and Bob, finally won a game together. It's never happened.
Oh, nice.
All of us playing together, so that finally happened actually last night, so that's good. And then new patch dropped, and it broke and fixed things all at the same time. So, once again, they're still balancing the gameplay part of it, which makes me think they're not going to address the map until they fix the gameplay. Or not fix, but adjust it and tune it the way they want it and they see fit. Something really weird happened. One of the missions or like objective based things you can pick up in a round of Warzone. It was this bounty thing, and before it used to let you. It would just target a random team or a random person in a team, and then if you took them out, you got a bounty, like money bonus or whatever. And then the same thing could happen to you. You could be randomly selected if someone else picked it up, and then if you defend it properly, you get money for surviving the time. So they addressed that. They changed it. The day it dropped, it changed into where if you pick it up, you are the one that's marked. And it's like a test of might almost, but they increased the self-survival bonus by a lot. And I think it dropped a specific item as well if you survived it. So they tweaked it. And then on the mini-map before, it used to just kind of give you a small little radius of where they were at. And as you got closer to that radius, it will kind of like hone in. It still won't give the exact location, but you have a general idea of where they were at. Well, with the new system, you are just marked. Like, you are on the mini-map as if you were firing without a suppressor. So that was a change. However, the very next day, they took out the new system and put back in the old one. So I don't know what they were seeing. But yeah, they quickly replaced that. Did
you notice anything after that rollout that you were...
I mean, I only played a couple rounds. It wasn't enough for me to like get valuable intel, and I never I was scared. I was more scared to death to pick up that thing before I used to pick it up as like I can at least scout one team, I know where I might be safer now or whatever. But with that, it was like, I'm become the marked person. I'd rather not. It's not worth the risk in my opinion. I can just get something else and get money or whatever. So it was a weird thing that changed and then reverted back. So I'm just going to keep my eye on that and see what happens there. They also added the ability, you couldn't drop your weapon to a teammate before. They changed that. You can now do that.
That's cool.
It's within the same menu as dropping armor and money, so it's easy enough. They added a new thing for the armor. So before you got 5 plates, and remember I told you the plates are sectioned off, so there's no armor tiers. You just kind of get like these armor plates to put in to kind of chunk up that health.
Yeah.
Before you could carry 5 extra on top of the 3 you were wearing, there's a special item you can get as a rare drop or by completing what's called a scavenger mission. And it's called Armor Satchel, and you can now hold up to 8 plates if you acquire that weapon. And it's not like taking a place of a perk or anything, it's just like an extra thing you're wearing, much like a gas mask. So yeah, that was something new. And then the one thing, they didn't say it on the patch notes, but I kind of noticed it. Before, whenever I opened like one of those random crates for a random weapon drop or whatever, some kind of money will always come out of it. And it varied. It could be like 200 or it'd be like 2,000. It's random. Not every crate was dropping money, I noticed. So I think they're still trying to fine tune the economy in the game some. I can tell you that the loadout crates, I mean, they're still a thing, but I'm like I said last week, I'm aware of the timings now, so that is still playing a big part into whether or not we want to buy or not. But yeah. And then with the quote-unquote fixes, they did break things. So the in-game party chat, so this is where the cross-console stuff could be an issue. So if I'm playing with someone random on an Xbox or a PlayStation, the in-game voice chat is like super bugged or broken.
Oh, cool.
We
can't hear them, or
we can hear each other initially, and then at some point the game will just decide, nah, you're not going to hear anyone anymore. So half the game we're calling out things, and all of a sudden I just can't hear my teammates anymore. So that
don't have a ping system like Apex.
There is a ping system, but like when you're getting fired at, it's easier to communicate that, especially when you can communicate like compass readouts and stuff like that. So I don't know. It's so that's bad. That's broken. And then the wait times for their queue systems went up. Warzone's not dramatically bad, but I noticed it badly when like playing multiplayer just to kind of like warm up for a night or whatever. So there's going to need to be an emergency patch to fix that stuff.
It's cool they're keeping it alive. That like they seem like they're on top of it. They want this to be viable. I don't know. I feel like the one that Blackout, I feel like that one kind of like dropped, and then I didn't really hear much about it after the fact. But this, like, people are still playing, people are still talking. It's still getting regular, like, major updates, which is cool.
Yeah, and it was a double XP weekend this past weekend, so like a lot of people are probably logging on and then realizing that some of the stuff's like not working properly. So I
hope it didn't hurt it.
I hope one they get it patched, and it could be very well patched by the time we go up from recording, because these usually act fast on things that are not working. Yeah. But yeah, something to keep an eye out for there. But that's all I got for that.
I played some Gran Turismo for PSP.
Who wants to play that old shit?
Dude, literally, why would anyone play this? You know what I'm saying? Legitimately, so I did play Gran Turismo for PSP. Jim Ryan jokes aside. Actually, like, to double down on, like, what the fuck, Jim Ryan. The Gran Turismo on PSP, I'm playing it, and I'm digging it, because from what I can tell, you can't actually, like, tune your cars, like, super detailed, like you can on the main Gran Turismos. You just kind of get your cars. You can, like, do quick tunes, like, before a match. You can say, like, okay, let me tweak this a little, but you can't do like the in-depth stuff and go crazy.
So you can't do what my old college roommate used to do.
Get a shitty Honda Civic and jack it up so it's fucking crazy horsepower?
No, he used to talk shit to people.
Right.
Talk shit and then adjust his car and then completely spin out. And then he'd think he'd fix it the next race and it still completely spin out.
No, you can't do any of that. Not that I can see in the menus. Maybe you have to get a different license to do it or whatever. But as I'm playing it, I'm like, man, maybe I should just get Gran Turismo Sport on PS4, jump in and play it, get some trophies, have some fun, just get lost in it a little bit.
Driver's license?
Huh?
Reacquire a new driver's license?
Then I looked into it and like, here's why anyone would play the PSP game or the PS2 game. You bought the game, and that was it. The fucking GT Sport, I was looking at it, and it's like, if you want half the cars, they're all microtransactions for $3 a piece. Which... Yeah. Okay, fine, whatever. I get it. Modern video game development is a lot more expensive. I'm not... All right.
Licensing and, yeah.
I get it. But then I remembered all that weird shit about that game where, like, they changed the general, like, progression of it. I don't remember the details of it now, but I remembered, like, oh, yeah, right. It was... You had to, like... It was, like, seasonal, because they made it, like, a live service game, basically. Like, you had to check in and do actual, like, real-world, real-time events. You couldn't just play it. And it's like, man, that's why. That's fucking why.
And the fact that, like, you know... Yes, I understand the whole system for, like, griefing and making sure no one's, like, trolling whatever, but, like, I've seen plenty of videos of, like, shit, like... people legitimately racing still getting dinged on that system, so I don't know, like, God forbid, I'm terrible at this game, so as soon as I hit someone on the side, I know I'm getting probably a fucking kick from that.
Yeah, no, my go-to for that game is gas. First turn that I hit, I slam into all of the other cars to buffer the turn, and then I start driving well when I'm in first. And I kind of just cruise around until the race is over, and if someone passes me, I just use them to make turns. It's kind of the go-to.
Yeah. Exactly how I play them.
Yeah, that was Gran Turismo for PSP. The one big one I missed this week was Streets of Rage 4. That dropped Thursday, but I was so hard into Final Fantasy VII, trying to wrap that up before the podcast, that I did not have time for Streets of Rage 4. But it did drop on Game Pass, so that saved me $25 that I was going to spend to buy it on Switch.
That's always nice when you get that surprise drop on Game Pass. Oh, speaking of Game Pass, I flexed that Game Pass muscle this week. Gears Tactics came out earlier in the week, and
I completely forgot. Like, it's been such a muted release for that game. Like, I knew for a year it's coming out.
I've gotten more buzz around the new XCOM like spin-off thing than I gotten around Gears.
See, but then I heard that Gears. I mean, you'll tell me in a second, but I heard that Gears sounds better to me quality-wise than XCOM.
Well, see, this is the thing here, right? So, I haven't played XCOM 2 or the new one. I haven't even actually really seen gameplay in the new one. I've watched some gameplay of 2 before. But, like, I don't know. Well, I'll just get into it. Like, I've only played 2 missions. I'm going to go throw it out there. For those that have played a game, I guess the story setup is going to be much like a regular series Gears entry where there's acts and then chapters. I think so I've completed Act 1, Chapter 1, and Act 1, Chapter 2, which are just 2 missions. But yeah, so like I'm not very deep into the game. I'm just kind of getting the basics still down, but like it's very much one of those. Like if you played an XCOM game, you kind of know what this is. If you played Mario and Rabbids, you kind of know what this is. So it's that, but you know, you got that Gears polish on it. It's one of those things where I think if you like Gears and you like this kind of game, or you want to see what the type of game this is, it's going to be worth it. I don't know. Gears 5 changed my total opinion on that franchise with how much I ended up really liking that game. So like I'm kind of like digging the whole Gears vibe right now. So I'm kind of liking it. The one thing, and I talked to you briefly over text about this, but like the controls for them saying like it's built up for PC from the ground up, like the controls seem a little weird. It's not weird like bad weird. It's just I wasn't expecting it. Where like
like the weird mouse movement.
Yeah, WASD moves the camera around. Like you can still nudge the sides to like move the camera around, but there's no like I like to like, especially in games like this, like to grab the screen, like hold a click and drag and then like pan that way. Especially when the taps on the borders aren't fast enough. I know I can do it faster by grabbing.
Click drag.
Yeah, so they don't have that, and I really searched the options this morning and could not find it. So it's a little weird, but it's something I can get used to. What I do like, though, is the camera is a full 360. So you use Q and E to rotate the camera, and it's not that bullshit like, all right, you can turn it 90, 90. No, it is completely 360. So that's really nice for getting some of those angles that sometimes, and seeing some enemies that are weirdly behind cover and seeing exactly how they're behind cover. Especially like throwing grenades and stuff, that helps a lot too. So that's cool. Once again, is this PC only?
Yeah.
So very impressive, just like Gears 5 was with all the options for graphics. They even do the thing where it's like, hey, we can see your system. Let us do the optimized settings that we think for you, and then you can run benchmarks if you want to. And what's really cool is not only are they like optimizing it for just your specs, you can kind of tell it what you wanted to do. Like, I want this base frame at the minimum, and I will let you. I want to hold the frame rate to here for like monitor reasons or whatever. So like they ask you a couple questions about how you wanted to run, and then they do the optimized thing, and then they'll like encourage you to run a benchmark to see if that's like cool or not cool or whatever. So I think that's really clever. I like when games kind of help with that stuff. And then they even do the thing where like you can scroll through all the advanced settings, and they have like a little description with some pictures to the right to kind of help you out if you don't know like what tessellation is or particle quality and stuff like that. So all that stuff is really good on the PC side. some weird, not weird, but like some differences I have noticed from an XCOM game though. All the turns have 3 action points attached to them, unlike the 2 from XCOM and the 2 in Mario and Rabbids. I think you can get a power up for 3 in Mario and Rabbids if I remember correctly.
Yeah, but it was always like a special thing, not the norm.
So you can do that. So like, and then shooting doesn't end the turn either. I know the first XCOM game did that. I don't know about the second one or the new one, but in this one, like I could shoot, then run, and then maybe try to shoot again. So when you start multiplying those action points for teammates, and then you have your different classes, and I've seen the skill tree for some of the different classes, and they're expansive enough. Each turn might take 20 minutes. I mean, it's like not like a bad thing. It's just like.
You're
and
really
once you kind of
about...
know how the game plays and stuff like that, like I'm sure that would cut down. But like I was like very much taking my time just already with basic stuff, trying to figure out what my best plan of attack was on some of these turns, especially like when you're overwhelmed with like these swarming enemies. Like they're grunts, you can take them out one shot, but if it's not like a high percentage shot, it's it's going to work against you. So there's a lot of strategy there for you. I haven't been
that percentage.
Huh?
How's the percentage stuff?
I haven't been fucked yet by a 95.
Okay.
Yet, but we'll wait for that battle roll.
I'm curious about that.
Usually, I will say like the percentages were in like I said, limited playtime. But if it was above like 70%, I was hitting my shots. And they do partial hits as well. So you might not get the full damage that you could expel out, but you might get a chunk of it. So it kind of it's a little bit of forgiveness there. But of course, you still get the flanking boost and you have the half cover, full cover mechanic. It's all that stuff you've seen in an XCOM or a game like this. It is all there. I really like what they did with Overwatch. So Overwatch, for those that don't know what it is a thing where you can, is an ability you can put on at the end of your turn where your dudes will kind of sit and wait for some enemy movement towards you or, like in the general area. In this game, what they do is they give you a cone of vision. And then you can place it there. And what you could do with that, one lets you like cover flanks that you are being covered. But like it's not just like an automatic thing. So like if you are waiting for a specific enemy to kind of come down like a funnel, like I could move like a cone of vision into that area and then like have someone else watch that dude's back if he's far up. So that plays around with it. And the cone of vision, you can like stretch it out to a certain distance, or you can hone it in for a more kind of like what's the word I'm looking for? Like a higher percentage shot, to make sure it inflicts more damage than just missing. So I really like what they did there with that system. And then for as many action points as you have available when you go into Overwatch, because Overwatch will end the turn, it will fire that many times. So if I launched Overwatch on my first turn, I should get 2 fires from that person in that cone. And that could eliminate one person, or if it eliminates the first person on the first action, it will then wait for the second person to come in. So I kind of like that little twist there to Overwatch. And then the last thing... It was
just like a fail-safe. It wasn't like... Yeah, I'm sorry, not the other one, but in XCOM.
Yeah, like it's just one of those things you just kind of did at the end of the turn. But now, like even when you're doing it now, you're like, all right, well... It's not just a general thing.
No, there's strategy to Luigi mode.
How do I want to do it? And then like you could overlap the cones, but sometimes it's not effective because then like you're leaving these easy flanks open if the enemy is smart. So a lot of stuff there. I'm curious to see how that goes. I've seen only basic enemies, so I don't know like how some of these will. I just don't know how some of this will work. I'm playing on intermediate, which I think was like their normal or whatever. So in that difficulty, I'm not sure if it's different for any of the other ones, but I can actually see another team's Overwatch vision cone too and make decisions based off that. So if I know there's a thing called disabling shot, which puts them out of Overwatch. Like I know, like, all right, if I need to move this dude out of that cone, I can disable him with an ability that has a cooldown, and then get that guy to cover or flank or do whatever. So the cone of vision works both ways as well, and I really like that little change to this traditional thing to have in a game of this
There
nature.
multiplayer in this?
I didn't. I don't know.
Right.
So I don't know. I was gonna say I didn't see it, but
I
I'm
can
not
look
really
it up
paying attention.
if you got another point. You wanna bring up.
And the last thing is like the customization. Like gears can be very brown, but like your team is composed of like main story heroes, and then you will be able to recruit and save people along the way. So the heroes themselves, you can still customize. You can customize their armor, like their undershirt, the weapons, all that stuff, like colors.
Can you make them look like Bautista?
I can't change the face of the heroes. I didn't try to change the face of the recruits, though, so I couldn't make a Bautista recruit. I can rename the recruits to Bautista.
All Bautista.
And then, but yeah, like you can change their armor, the color of their armor, the secondary color of their armor. You can put patterns in it. You can change their guns. So I got this is one of the main heroes. I think his name is Sid. He's just like grizzled vet or whatever, but I got him like rocking like a hot pink gun and like a dark red armor because why not? So
You just unlocked by playing, or it was
they're
there
all
by
the
default?
colors and patterns are all unlocked from the start.
Huh.
So you can really do what you want, and there's even more customization to the recruits that aren't like story heavy. So, and I think that's where you can customize faces and some stuff like that and names. I was just shocked to see that much of customization with that stuff, and of course, you're gonna have like attachments that boost accuracy or maybe drop something else. You can get those from like random unlocks. You're getting them through missions. In the 2 missions I play, there are crates that you can optionally like kind of go for and pick up that will like unlock something for you after the mission. So there's some risk reward with exploring the map a little bit before like finishing the mission. And then there's nothing yet, but I have a very strong feeling that because of the way the story is so story heavy, that there's going to be like no kind of base building thing like an XCOM has. It's going to be more like a Mario Rabbids where you kind of go from like mission to mission. There might be some side missions inside of a chapter or something like that.
Do you prefer like having the base stuff to build, or
I do like it in XCOM.
ActRaiser style?
XCOM does. I mean, that is like hardcore. You kind of get as strong with that as you get, and like if you're not good at that, it will impact your gameplay. So you kind of have to get good at that and get an optimized build. Because I found so many times that like I built out the things the wrong way, and I will not get a particular thing that I need, and then I fall behind and I just feel weak. So it's like a give or take kind of thing. I will like a more casual approach to it, but I'm not mad that it's not here if it's not going to be done right. But yeah, I think that's about all I got for that. To be fair, I will know more next week. I would just say the story setup. It's Gears. Ukon is a bad person. He's doing bad things. You must take down the bad person.
I can tell you that I have no idea if the game has multiplayer or not.
Okay.
I'm going to go with single player, according to the Steam page. The official like listing on the Xbox store doesn't say shit about multiplayer or not, but on the Steam page it just says single player. It does not say multiplayer. So let's go with that.
Single player.
Yep.
Found it on the Xbox Game Pass app.
That'll do it. Anything other than Gears Tactics this week?
No, not really. I did finish up Final Fantasy, play some Warzone. Gears Tactics was the new edition, and I'll keep playing it. By the way, I like it.
I need to flip to the Windows side of my Mac and update the Magic client and download Gears. How big is the Gears install? Because that might be.
It took a bit, so I know it's going to be a hefty amount of, not hefty, but it's a decent chunk. But it didn't take like a 3-hour. It wasn't stupid.
I'm just like, after shit like Warzone being 179 gigs.
I don't think it's 179 gigs. Let me see. I'll see if I can find it when I move on here.
The only other thing I played some Batman for the Nintendo Entertainment System. After last week talking about Trip World and thinking about Sunsoft, I wanted to go back to one of the Sunsoft greats, so I jumped in. Did you ever play Batman on NES?
No.
All right, here's what you need to know. You can wall jump in an NES game. Batman is purple, and the music fucking slaps. That's all I got.
Music slaps. Got
The
it.
music fucking slaps. In fact, I'm going to cut to some of that music right now so listeners can hear
28.7 gigs. There you go. All right.
How many?
Cut.
How many?
28.7.
Ain't bad.
That's not bad at all.
Well, enjoy this here Batman NES music, and when we come back, we're going to talk about some non-Batman things, or maybe some Batman things indeed, after this break. Matt, we left off last week waiting to see what 2K would reveal for its new wrestling game, and now we know. WWE 2K Battlegrounds is your next WWE video game. How excited are you for what seems to be wrestling's answer to NBA Playgrounds?
Well, it is wrestling's answer because it's the same developer and probably the same engine. Not that excited.
Okay, well, let me ask you this. The Rock throws someone into a crocodile, so...
Yeah, I saw that. I did watch the trailer.
Did you see John Cena fucking throw a fireball?
Yeah, that's it's too arcadey for me. I don't know. Like, I talk about simplifying the controls, but then this happens. So, like, I guess it's more simple, but it's not. It's kind of not what I want.
No. But then again, do you want a broken game?
No, but we don't know if this is going to be broken yet, so stay tuned.
That's true.
You know, I will admit I was wrong. It was not a mobile title. I mean, we don't know officially yet, but Playgrounds did not come to mobile. It only came to the console, so...
Yeah, I played the first Playgrounds because it was on Game Pass when I first signed up for Game Pass, and I just wanted it to be NBA Street, and it wasn't. Like, it was slower than that, and in order to unlock characters, it was weird. It was like, I feel like that game was meant to be a mobile game, and then they just said, nah, just make it a whatever. So, like, there's all these hooks to unlock characters that are very microtransaction-esque, but the way you actually unlock it is, like, you have to grind for in-game currency to then spend that in-game currency. It's just a mess.
I mean, remember, they pumped out Playgrounds 2 real quick, so I think they...
Yeah,
I think something happened there in development as well for that first one.
Naughty Dog has updated us on the development of The Last of Us Part 2. Specifically, this comes from the PlayStation blog. I guess as we were recording last week, or just thereafter, some leaks had happened with The Last of Us Part 2. And this is not directly in response to it, but basically those leaks happened, and then Monday morning or Tuesday morning, was that Monday? I don't remember days anymore. This was Monday. Herman Hulst posted to the PlayStation blog that Last of Us Part 2 will arrive on June 19th, and Ghost of Tsushima is being pushed back a few weeks to July 17th.
I mean, I guess it's good that we have dates for these games. I don't know. I guess that's the definitive date for The Last of Us. I don't know. I just don't know with everything going on that's going to be it.
Yeah, I mean, they can't get out and say this and then delay it again. I mean, they can, but it just seems odd to do that. I guess they expect, because if you remember, the on paper statement about The Last of Us is that they were delaying its release because they were not sure when global distribution would be able to become a thing, and they wanted to get that game out there to everyone at once. So maybe they think they can do that in June. I know that for the Wonderful 101 Kickstarter, I got a thing saying that digital codes will be distributed this week, but the physical version, the retail release of that, is being pushed back because they can't meet delivery.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah, I guess the only other piece to tie up on this Naughty Dog story, I did see this morning that, so there all week long there were reports that are you drinking a Bang?
Mm-mm.
Oh.
No, it's a fancy looking beer.
Oh, it looked like a Bang Energy. Oh, yeah, okay, I see.
Full hopping deck beer by Flying Dog.
Interesting. There were reports that it was a disgruntled ex-employee from Naughty Dog who had leaked the entire game plot for plot, and that was confirmed that it was not. No one to do with Naughty Dog, no one to do with Sony.
Yeah, so I don't know what to think there. I don't know. The date needs to come for me to get excited at this point. Like, it's hard to.
Yeah, like
I'm happy. Ghost has a Tsushima has a date.
Yeah,
and it's not in SQ. I'm actually. That will change once we get closer, but like right now, like more curious to see what Ghost is than The Last of Us. But that's just, I think that the whole delay thing and everything that's going on is just, it has me psyched out a little bit. But
it definitely deflated it.
On June 17th, it will be different.
Yeah. DICE has announced that it's shifting its focus to work on the next installment for the Battlefield series, due out in 2021. This is after releasing the final update for Star Wars Battlefront 2. A statement from EA says the team at DICE is working on a standalone Battlefield 5 update releasing this summer and continuing their work on delivering community games. While the studio's vision for Star Wars Battlefront 2 is now complete with this week's The Battle on Scarif update, the servers, in-game challenges, recurring events, and game support will continue as the game lives on with players and the community. We're looking forward to hearing players' stories for both games for years to come. Longer term, the studio is focused on the future of Battlefield that we'll be bringing to players in 2021. Battlefield 5 didn't do... Well, we know Battlefield Front... Jesus Christ, dude, I cannot talk. Battlefront 2 did not do so hot at launch because of all of the crazy requirements for progression, but that game turned itself around quite healthily.
Yeah, it also, anecdotally, especially at work, I was hearing more people talking about that. And remember, I even bought it at one point.
I was going to say you were going to buy it, but you did buy it.
Leading up to the release episode 9, but for whatever reason, it would not install on my PlayStation, so I ended up getting that refund. But no,
Battlefield 5 did not do so hot for them in comparison.
I don't think it did. I don't think it did Battlefield 1 numbers or even Battlefield 4 numbers.
No.
I think there was a little bit of I think people wanted to go into World War 1 again or somewhere different, but they went back into World War 2. And I just didn't. It didn't go over well. I remember more of the controversy when that initial launch trailer happened with the woman, and then there was people like, oh, yes, a woman, but then the historically accurate people were like, oh, there was a woman in World War. So I remember more of that than the actual game. It's one of the first ray tracing games. I remember that.
Right.
And that's about it. I played a demo on my PC at one point. It was fine. I think I wanted to go more towards like Battlefield 4 again with like more modern stuff. And things like that. And I think a modern one would kill at right now.
I imagine that's probably what 2021 will be.
I hope, or yeah,
because they have to counter what Modern Warfare has been doing. Even Black Ops I, and then Modern Warfare, like back to back, have kind of set the stage for the next, I think, chain of where Activision wants to take Call of Duty. And I think it's time that DICE can kind of establish that counter again, like we saw mid-generation last time around.
Remember Firestorm?
No, I never played any of this shit. I'm just, I'm loosely on the edges of it.
Firestorm was the answer. Their Battle Royale mode in Battlefield 5.
Oh, is that what it was called?
Yeah.
Did it come out?
Yeah, it came out. It came out late, and then no one played it.
Okay. If you say so.
Yeah, it's a real thing. But yeah,
AMC.
I'm sorry. I would dig a new modern Battlefield. I don't think I want World War 1 or 2.
No, I mean we'll talk about what happens in the summer when we talk about video game announcements here soon. But I wonder when we'll hear more about that game. I was going to say we probably wouldn't hear about it until next E3, and then I'm like, well, hold on, I gotta start changing my fucking vocabulary. AMC Theaters and Regal have refused to play Universal movies once theaters reopen. This is not necessarily related to video games, but of course this does
second
potentially affect I love this fucking IGN story you posted. Just has a picture of Vin Diesel with a slash through him. Just prohibit Vin Diesel.
Oh man, but yeah, Fast 9.
Yeah. So this is AMC theaters. As everything kind of shut down, Universal Pictures was one of the studios who released some of its movies early on video on demand rather than waiting to show them in theaters. We saw some movies get delayed entirely to try and, circumvent this whole thing, but Universal put some of its movies out on demand. I think, Trolls World Tour, after 3 weeks in digital release, made more revenue there than they did from 5 months of the original Trolls in theaters. I think that also has to do with some circumstance, you know what I mean? You got a bunch of kids trapped in the house, put on the fucking dumb Trolls movie and let them,
Yeah. It's in a world where, because a lot of this is coming from like on-demand cable purchases. So like this is when a company like remember Universal's parent company is Comcast. When Comcast is trying to prevent people from cutting the cable, I see their moves here. I see like the chess pieces being played by both the theaters and Comcast. This is like one of those things where like it's the spark to ignite something that's going to change or maybe different in like a year. So it's just something weird to keep an eye on. But Fast 9 could be in some trouble. I don't know where we're going to be watching it.
No, I mean, so honestly, like we joke about the Fast 9 stuff, but this is an interesting story from that sort of like fundamental shift that changes. Like movie theaters are already in a weird spot because who the fuck goes to the movies? But then no, but you didn't, right? And then they said, well, hey, what if we make it comfortable? What if we feed you booze? What if we bring you food? Like they changed what the movie going experience was, because for like a decade, like going to the movies was a chore. It was something you had to do because you wanted to see the movie. Now it's like, I loved going to the movies, and like we would do it depending on the season every Sunday-ish, right? Like wake up early as hell, go see a movie like 10 a.m., something like that, eat popcorn for breakfast. It was a great time. But
so even now, like I'm kind of loyal to AMC, but like the services stuff, like I do the AMC A-list thing, and like it's like $23 a month, and I get to see 3 movies a week. But if you just see 3 movies in that month, that's like paying for itself. So like, it's just go into the movies. They're doing everything they can to make it easier and more financially like ready. But like I actually talking to my sister about this yesterday, but like the VOD stuff costs like $25-$30, and then when you think about it, 4 tickets, let's just say nuclear family, 2 and 2, 4 tickets, popcorn, the kids are going to want candy and stuff like that. By the time you do all that, it's like $40-$50. So being able to do it at home where you can kind of pause when someone has to go to the bathroom, like that kind of stuff, this is going to change the landscape a little bit. I'm very curious to see, like I said, in like 9 months to a year, what happens. Look, if Halloween Kills does not come out in October, I will riot.
Did they finish filming on that?
Yes, there was test screenings, and everyone loved it.
All right, if they finish filming, you're probably all right.
I know, but that's why
it'll be somewhere.
You
will be able to watch that movie.
This sets up a news article for later, by the way.
Interesting. Speaking of delays, Derek Yu, creator of Spelunky, posted to Twitter Thursday little updates about Spelunky 2 and UFO 50. Both are still on track. Both are projects that are still being worked on. But this year, they're going to go all in on Spelunky 2 so that it can release this year. No official release date, nothing like that. He confirmed UFO 50 still very much in development and still very active, quote. Not a ton, like he didn't give a lot of detail. It was just kind of a quick little tweet, but it was just something because I know that Spelunky 2 is definitely one of my most anticipated games. And UFO 50, when that first got because that was announced before Spelunky 2, and I was just excited to have something else from Derek Yu, plus the fact that it was like these cool 50 micro games, it's a neat project. But we'll have to wait a little bit longer
for that one, as Spelunky 2 takes the forefront. Not bad.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Burnout Paradise Remastered announced that last Nintendo Direct Mini to be coming to Switch this summer has a release date of June 19th. So if you're tired of The Last of Us Part 2 and you just want to go driving in, is it Paradise City? Is that the name of the city?
You're upset that the potential delay of Fast 9 could be a thing?
You're right. You can hop in a Dodge Charger right there and fucking prohibit Vin Diesel all you want. Matt, we're going to get our first look at the Xbox Series X on May 7th at 11 a.m.
Did we start saying X going to give it to you?
Yeah,
I think it's time.
It's time to bring that one back.
Look, you see, all it took was a slight little tweet and a little announcement that we're going to get some news, and now everyone's fucking hyped again. And I called it.
I'm still...
Oh, I'm hyped. I'm throwing up X's.
We were walking the dogs, and I was talking about this, and I was just like... I'm curious to see what they announce, but I still want a reason to buy one of these things.
Steam on the Xbox.
But what am I gonna get on this game? Again,
a machine that runs Windows 10 somewhat more optimally.
No, but that's what I mean. I will gladly put my foot in my mouth, but why do I need to buy this box to play these games? Because we've heard that a lot of these games
going to be on it.
Are going to be on legacy consoles already, and then PC. So what do I need this for?
Because Steam's going to be on it.
I have Steam on my PC.
You just say you have issues updating your shit on PC. It's
I don't have
easier.
issues.
It's
I'm
more
just
convenient.
Lazy. Yeah.
I'm throwing out the X's.
X going to give it to you this Thursday. Tune in live on Mixer. Maybe not live in June, however, is Nintendo's typical E3 Direct.
Yeah, that's probably the best way to say that.
According to VentureBeat, and then corroborated by Eurogamer sources, apparently Nintendo's plans for its annual E3 broadcast have been pushed back due to complications arising from the coronavirus pandemic. VentureBeat first reported on the story the other day. Nintendo has apparently told publishers to set to reveal games during its showcase that it needs more development time on its first-party games. The only big thing we've seen... So obviously we heard all those rumors about the Mario stuff coming this year, that was meant to be a big E3 celebration of Mario's 35th anniversary and that whole rollout. But we did see the Smash character was kind of the only hard set thing for June. You could kind of assume from the way they announced the ARMS character coming to Smash that they were going to show who it was, show how they played, and drop it all on the same day at this E3 thing. So it seems like it's slipping a little bit, but no word from Nintendo officially just yet.
I mean, they launched that last Direct with that little screen with saying hey, look, these things have release dates, but nothing might, this stuff could get delayed. It may not hold. So I don't look. If all Nintendo's affected, it's fine. I'm not. Yeah. Just let it stew.
Games will come when they come. Believe me, dude. I still have so much shit to play. You know what I mean? I ran out of time to play stuff this week, so
yeah, it's fine. I have to say, the one thing, I'd rather this not all happen, but that roller coaster of just games has been a little bit easier.
Yeah. It helped not playing Resident Evil 3 because I got to skip, you know what I mean? I got to pull one out of the hat. But then, I was looking at a month ago, that whole lead up to The Last of Us 2 and all. And it's I don't have to worry about that anymore. I still do, but a couple weeks further out. Yeah. So we did get our first look at an Xbox Series X game this week when Assassin's Creed Valhalla officially premiered Thursday, I think.
That sounds right.
So the game will be available for... This is so weird. So the YouTube description on the official Ubisoft page says Assassin's Creed Valhalla will be available holiday 2020 on Xbox One, PlayStation 4, PC, and Stadia. But at the end of the trailer, there's an Xbox Series X logo. So you tell me.
I watched the trailer. It's a cinematic trailer. It's hard to really discern anything from that.
Odin's here.
Odin is here. I don't really care about Assassin's Creed, but I thought the story was interesting because we've known about this game for about a year, thanks to Bloomberg's
really
Jason
2 weeks
Schreier.
away from knowing the next Assassin's Creed game, so don't worry.
Yeah, exactly. Well, maybe we gotta wait for planes to be back in operation so we can see someone's screen on a fucking...
Fair.
Yeah. But it's the Viking Assassin's Creed is real, and this one looks like it's at least going back to the point of having like a central villain around in some way. I don't know. Did this pique your interest at all?
Like, yes and no. Like, Odyssey, to be fair, kind of piqued my interest. It just seemed like that game was so massive, and I never wanted to undertake that.
Same.
So, I don't know. Like, I think the Viking stuff cool. Like, they got to bring in the sailing stuff. I know the sailing stuff's worked in that game. I kind of, as long as it's done right and it's not a super big focal point of it, the establishment stuff could be cool. I know, like, one of my favorite parts of Assassin's Creed 2 and the the third game, not 3, but like the games following.
Yeah,
was some of that stuff where like you built up the Assassin's Guild like around you, especially in 2 with Ezio, like focusing on like Ezio's hometown and like building out that stuff back up for better armor and stuff, like, or better shops. Like, obviously a little bit more in depth, but like, I don't know. I kind of like that stuff, that little side stuff where you are working towards like your home in a way. So I don't know. I'll see. Well, we'll have to get closer, but like, I don't know. I heard great things about Odyssey.
Yeah, I really wanted to play it. It just seemed like it was like 75 hours long. Like I didn't have that time to invest in that game.
I mean, to be fair, I think the Greek shit's more interesting than the Viking stuff for me. But like, I don't know. It's gonna be new. It's gonna have new systems. So I don't know. This might be the one. Maybe they heard some feedback about Odyssey being a little too long. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see when it gets closer. We'll see what's out at that point too, because Cyberpunk is supposed to be around that time. So
oh yeah, I forgot about that game.
Oh wow, some of us did.
Here's a game that I hope no one forgets about. Hobonichi, the company founded by the man behind the Mother series, Shigesato Itoi, has announced a new Hobonichi Mother project where the game text from all 3 Mother games will be printed in a book released at the end of the year. And they'll show off some other news before then as well. Kind of an interesting little project. It's neat to me that this popped up out of nowhere. Like there's no special celebration. Nintendo seems to not really celebrate this stuff. It's just kind of like they let Itoi do whatever he wants. I don't know. It's neat. So more on that.
Does Reggie announce that Mother 3 is a retail physical exclusive at GameStop?
God. No. Yeah, it was a neat little video with the music playing. Everything was in Japanese, so I have no idea what it said, but
they may just announce Mother 3. You didn't even know.
It's cool that Mother is still being talked about and relevant. Speaking of relevancy, Streets of Rage 4 out this week. We talked about earlier not playing it. One quick little news blurb about it. The game has no online multiplayer if you buy it from GOG. Just a heads up. So it's all other platforms. You can play multiplayer on the same platform, but GOG.com, no online multiplayer.
Yeah, a little weird, but I think it's a DRM thing because Guy is very famous for like DRM free ownership of the game. So I have a feeling that's it. The only thing that kind of sucks is the pricing's the same.
Yeah.
So you're not getting the full game for the same price. So I don't know. I understand the whole DRM free thing, but like it maybe discount it, or maybe Guy should eat the money there. I don't know. It doesn't seem right to offer a condensed game, or not the whole game for the same price.
Yeah, that's a weird one.
I understand it from all sides, though. That's the tough thing of like who.
All right, Matt, I got a couple bad ones and then I got a good one. You ready?
Sure.
Evo 19, not 19. Evo 19 was last year. Evo 2020 has been canceled. All ticket purchases being refunded. The event will be online in some fashion. More information coming on that soon, but the Evo team came out this week and said Evo is canceled. This was in the wake of a blog post on a website called Dota2.com, where the International has also been canceled. Or probably canceled. So
yeah.
The statement here specifically says, we have been exploring various possible date possibilities, but it is likely that the event will need to happen in 2021. Given the highly volatile landscape for local gathering restrictions, virus trajectory, and global travel policies, we don't expect to have enough confidence to communicate firm dates in the near future. So there is that. We're working on restructuring the Dota Pro Circuit season for the fall, and we'll be providing more information as soon as we have it.
Texted this to Victoria, followed by the Michael Scott no GIF, which I think everyone knows that one by heart because everyone uses Office GIFs. And then I put, I'm not Halloween pissed, but I'm getting there. As if the case of if Halloween was delayed. That's the one I've been saying from the start. That one gets delayed. I'm over this. I mean, I already am over this, but that would be the breaking point.
Well, I have some good news. Jeff Keighley's here to save the day.
I know. King Keighley,
coming around, man. So Jeff announced on Friday, May 1st, the Summer Game Fest, a 4-month-long season of news events from, quote, all your favorite game platforms and publishers. So a couple things here. He announces this. It's not a singular show, but a whole season for events. The schedule hub is at summergamefest.com. You can see a guide for the next 4 months. He says, trust me, there are some amazing events coming, and I'm working on some plans for a developer showcase with my friends at I Am 8-Bit. And of course, Gamescom opening night live on August 24th as a big season finale. So a couple things to unpack here. One, 4 months of, little events and announcements from different publishers, which kind of eats into the E3 territory. 2, he's working with I Am 8-Bit, who were working with the ESA to put on E3 2020, and they dropped out just before its cancellation was announced. And 3, Jeff Keighley does not use dark mode on his iPhone, so can we really trust him?
When I see the note here is at 8. Was that AM or PM?
What are you talking about?
In the screenshot of his note.
Oh, it says AM.
Screenshot. Oh, it is AM? Well, he could have the system one on, where it's dark mode at night and light mode during the day. I know people that use that.
Still go with,
Look, I respect Jeff too much to scrutinize his light mode, dark mode use. Right. My man is trying to be engaged to Hideo Kojima, so...
Well, all right, so how do you feel about this? I mean, we've been talking about, what the fuck does... Obviously, E3 was going to be weird this year anyway, and then it's canceled. So, what does this mean for video game announcements? We had heard that this year's E3 was meant to have a live showing from Warner Brothers, showing off that Harry Potter game, showing off Batman, showing off all sorts of stuff. I think Rocksteady's game and the new Batman game, all in one. So what does this mean to you?
I mean, I'm trying to pull up. Wasn't there a screenshot of the first phase and the developers with it?
Yeah,
I cannot find it.
So we've got Phase 1, 2K, Activision, Bandai Namco, Bethesda, Blizzard, Bungie, CD Projekt Red, Digital Extremes, because they're going to show up with Warframe, EA, PlayStation, Private Division, Riot Games, Square Enix, Steam, Warner Brothers, Xbox.
I mean, these are all... I mean, this is good. I'm glad, something's happening. I'm glad that there's going to be an alternative now to E3, possibly. I mean, you said it earlier, but like there's no coincidence. ESA dropped out right before they canceled E3 and is working with Jeff on this. So like,
I am 8-bit. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, sorry, not ESA. Yeah. So like, I don't know. We know Jeff can put on a good show.
Yeah, I mean, he does every year with the Game Awards, and honestly, the thing about the Game Awards that always sucks is you feel bad for the awards because they're being overshadowed by the game announcements, and then you feel like you kind of want more game announcements. It's a weird feeling in the end, but I think the other interesting thing here is, so Activision has not had a proper showing at E3. Like, I think... kind of loosely, like they'll pop up in third-party conferences and stuff like that. But remember, Activision used to have its own show at E3. EA had kind of separated itself from E3 in a way. Like, it still held an event during that time, but not the same. So this is unique. And then Bethesda had announced that it wasn't going to do its thing, but they are showing up here as well. So,
I mean, isn't one of those things where like it could easily have been. You know, they could just, this could be like an hour-long, like, Direct-esque thing, right? And, yeah, these like, a Bethesda wasn't going to have a whole conference, but maybe they're going to appear at Microsoft's, because Bethesda has popped up at Microsoft conference time and time again.
Sure.
Maybe it's just, like, one of those things, right, where, you know, they're just kind of given whatever things they had prepped for, or they are currently prepping for E3 to Jeff and letting them kind of handle it in his way because they trust him, and Jeff has all the connections in the world. I mean, he was part of E3 Live. I forget who he partnered with for coverage on that, but like, he had his whole couch. He had tons of people on it from all the different devs and publishers. Even Stadia was on there talking about Stadia. That was the most I ever listened to a Stadia thing. So, and that includes this past week's Stadia Connect. Yeah, I don't know what happened, so that... I mean, I think he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
People obviously know that. And, yeah, this is another one of those things, right, where it's cool for this year, but, like, how does it impact next year?
Yeah. I hope that this gains traction and we just get, you know, an ongoing... Because if you think about it, if he's going to run this from, May... June, July, August, all through the summer leading up to the Gamescom thing, there's summer of announcements. Then we kind of get to the fall where things are going to start to launch and you probably don't need something like this. Then you have Game Awards, and then we're kind of swinging back around again, and he could just do it again, which would be nice. The interesting thing I liked about this is that there's in-game events and then playable content and demos coming out of this as well. So it's not just look at this. It's also, hey, go interact with this. So something happening, you know, across.
Yeah, but we see that at E3 too. I'm not gonna say, you know, I mean, hell, PT came out of what's a Tokyo Game Show thing?
PT was Gamescom, but I mean, you're right. It's never been a selling point of E3. For E3, the selling point is always other things. This is like a bullet point from him and what they want to do with this show.
I think it's just a bullet point. I wouldn't look too much into it. I think it's going to be like the general things of like, hey, like Roller Champions from Ubisoft, right? Like, hey, go play our open beta of it. You know, I think it's just a bullet point just to say that it's kind of expected and we've seen before. I don't think it's going to be anything revolutionary just because it's digital now.
But I'm happy that we're seeing that and you get to watch Ninja play against Zac Efron. Like, I don't give a fuck about it.
Oh, you know what I mean? Hold on. You might be on something there.
Vin Diesel and Zac Efron on the stage. No, but yeah, I mean, I'd rather see, hey, we're putting this first. Because he did that with Steam and those game demos last year with the Game Awards. He had that thing... making those things available where you can play.
Right. Yeah. I forget about that because I didn't watch it live. I was at a football game.
Right. Yeah, but like those things are really neat. And I think the fact that he's like putting those things before, making sure that we book Michelle Rodriguez to announce the new whatever.
What about that game?
That is all the news, Matt.
Yeah.
Which means I think this has been a show. We'll get to see some Xbox One or Xbox
Series X.
Xbox Series X stuff this week. Are you looking forward to it?
Yeah. I think we're gonna get some what the platform looks like. I'm very curious about that.
What do you mean, like the interface?
Yeah.
I'd be okay with that.
You gotta start showing at some point is May.
I'm down. I'm totally down.
Like, I don't need to see every detail, but
that stuff is always more fascinating to me than the actual games. But we'll see.
Yeah, I think you're gonna see some of that. I think you're gonna see a couple things. Prop bet. Do you see the same exact trailer for Valhalla, or is it a slightly different one?
Same.
That's what I think too.
No, I bet we see gameplay.
Okay, that's fair.
I can't buy a Coke Energy.
I mean, they went into details about what that game is, so like they have something that's playable.
Yeah.
So yeah, I wouldn't be shocked by that. That might be how to kick it off.
Do we see Halo? Is it time?
You see something for it. I don't think it's gameplay. I don't think they discuss campaign. I don't think they go into detail about it. They might talk about multiplayer a bit, but they're not. I think they're holding on to their cards for campaign.
They gotta show something, dude.
They'll show something. They'll get you hyped, but I don't think it's going to be like, is it open world? I don't think like that question is going to be answered quite yet.
I wonder if this... Do you think this is replacing what Microsoft was planning for June?
Maybe. I mean,
and then we just see like follow-up things through Keighley's stuff throughout the summer with Microsoft.
I mean, yeah. But then again, like, I don't know. Because they came out of the Game Awards and showed the box.
Yeah.
We never seen anything like that before.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I mean, Microsoft and Keighley have a good relationship with that, obviously. Now, I think you're going to see... I think you're going to see a decent chunk here. I don't think it's going to be like this all-out like PlayStation Experience event or like the PlayStation Reveal event thing or anything like that, or the Xbox Reveal event thing from a few years ago that was a disaster. But I think you're going to see more than what you may think.
Do you think that Sony responds to this?
No,
because this has been the weirdest. For me, in a long time,
I think that part of this is because Sony doesn't know what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah, and that's the thing with like we're seeing how different these two boxes are, not just in terms of like, okay, well, this one's focusing on this and this one's focusing on that, but Series X to me feels like buying a new iPhone, where PlayStation 5 feels like switching to Android in a way. Like, not entirely, because I'm still in the same ecosystem, right? But, like, it just... PlayStation 5 feels like... PlayStation 5 feels like Sony wants to close the book on PlayStation 4 and fucking move forward. Where Xbox is like, hey... everything's cool. You keep doing what you're doing. All your friends are still going to be here. But if you wanted this one, you can do this too. Like, it doesn't feel like Xbox is saying, we're done here, now buy this. Where PlayStation very much, it seems like they want to get, they're not saying anything because we want Last of Us out, we want Ghost of Tsushima out, and then move on. Get the PlayStation 5. Series X feels like, yeah, look, here's Halo. It's going to look great on this and play great on this and all the Game Pass and blah, blah, blah. But if you don't buy it right away, who cares? It's fine. And it's just two different approaches this time. It's very strange.
It's going to be weird. It's weird, and I think it feels weird just because there's just like so much of a lack of news, and Xbox being so transparent with it, which I think I think they've really leaned into the transparency thing because people like we are still questioning what the hell a PlayStation 5 even is. Yeah. The PlayStation 5 very much feels like a box that the shareholders want to get out to compete with Microsoft and try not to have a repeat of the PlayStation 3 where it came out a year late and the Xbox kind of took it, to them for that first couple years. So I don't know. Like, it definitely, like, what you're saying totally feels correct, but I really think that with the tweet from Phil saying like, oh, we know you like the transparency and stuff, and we're going to keep that up, and we have games coming up, and then what, a week later? Yeah, it was last week we were talking about that, right?
Yeah, it was last week.
So like a week later, now we have an announcement of I forget what they called them, Inside Xbox, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have an Inside Xbox that they said, hey, this is the one that's going to have some Series X stuff. This comes right after the Assassin's Creed thing, saying, hey, there's a new Assassin's Creed, and like he said, it shows Series X at the end of that trailer, so everything just keeps saying Xbox, and, you know, and you're right. Like, they are very much for that messaging of like, hey, dude, come on board. If you don't want an Xbox, don't worry about it. We still have you for live. And there is this awesome service called Game Pass where you can get all these games. Hey, look, Streets of Rage 4 just came out. And then, you know, in this Inside Xbox thing, they're going to talk about what Game Pass looks like, Game Pass Ultimate looks like going forward, and whether it's the immediate future for like games coming out this month or at, you know, going into June maybe, or if it's stuff like relating directly to the Series X, which it doesn't, like I keep saying to the Series X, but it doesn't matter because everything's crossplay.
Yeah, for now at least.
It doesn't fucking matter. Yeah.
Oh man.
So yeah, this is a weird. This is a weird thing. I didn't think PlayStation would bungle, or Sony would bungle this as bad as they have.
Yeah, neither did I.
I didn't. It's kind of always felt that from the way it was announced and things like that. With the Wired article, it felt like a box that was being put out by the shareholders more than it was a box ready to go that they wanted to do. But I don't know. It just feels very corporate.
Yeah, it's almost like the guy who said, why would anybody want to play old games, became the head of the company and is now making decisions.
Yep. You know, and then the other thing is, like, I was thinking about this earlier in the week. I'm trying not to keep going with the podcast, I'm sorry. But, like, one of the things I was thinking about earlier in the week, that Hungary, that corporate, that higher up, the higher ups that were there for the ass kicking for the PS3 and then saw the redemption of the PS3, they're all gone. Yeah. There's no one. Jack Trenton's gone. Andrew House is gone. Sean Layden's gone. Shuhei's in a different thing where he's not as hands on with the first party stuff now. He's more indie. So like, there all these people that were there when they got their ass beat and they knew what they needed to do are gone.
Yeah, it's really it's a totally different like leadership now.
Yeah,
and I don't know if I like it.
I don't either. I do. I mean, like Herman Holst, like he's come from a good studio. His studio's put out good work. Even more like Killzone was great, but even more recent, like Horizon Zero Dawn, like killed it. I thought it was awesome. I think he's deserving of that promotion to oversee it. But this is like, you know, what about the rest of it? Like, you know, I know I like to poke at you for Jim Ryan, but like he's not my favorite fucking executive in the world either.
No, not at all.
Yeah, not when I got Phil Spencer unzipping his pants every goddamn week.
But, you know, in addition to that, like, it's just, like, I don't know. There was a sense of excitement around seeing Shuhei or Jack Trenton or even Sean Layden to that extent, where, like, when Jim Ryan gets on stage now, he's not, I don't know.
He's not charismatic. It's not.
No. And that's fine. You don't need that. I mean, when Iwata died and then we got, you know, a couple of different people taking over, it was not the same.
I remember that Switch reveal. That first 10 minutes, he's like, all right, this is the price. This is the box.
Just like, oh, did that guy come from the banking division? Yup, sure did. So, yeah, you know, I'm not.
But that turned out all right, though.
It's sure, yeah, sure. And I don't need, like, a character to be up there every time, but, like, you need somebody who's going to make people excited about it, and I'm not feeling that. I don't know, whatever. That's current circumstance.
And then this one last thing, it's when you think about Xbox right now, you think about Series X, you think about Phil Spencer, you think about the transparent Game Pass. It's like I feel like Game Pass has grew into such a huge thing here in especially the last year, right?
Yeah.
And then when I think of PlayStation, all I can think about right now is fucking ears.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a meme.
Yeah, and it shouldn't be that way.
Not a brand new console that you're probably going to spend $450 or $500 on.
Right. I don't know. Not looking great.
Console talk done for the week, though. Until next week.
Hopefully, right?
We'll have some news though next week at least. It's not going to be us saying the same thing.
What? So this week you're going to jump into some Gears Tactics?
Yeah, I'm going to keep messing around with Gears Tactics. I've been playing a lot of Madden again lately. Dude, I've played over 100 games online.
This week?
No, just like in general. Like I've slowly like built up 100 games online. So
nice.
That was weird to see. I want to jump back into Final Fantasy VII. I'm having, now that I beat it, I'm having a little bit issue like trying to gear myself up for hard mode, because I think part of it is I want to get the Platinum Trophy. I just don't know how to approach it. Do I do the hard mode stuff first, or do I try to knock out the easy stuff, get additional levels, so that way the hard mode's a little... I'm having that eternal debate, and I don't know how I want to tackle it yet, so I think that's keeping me mentally from turning on Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah, when I wrapped up and looked at the trophy list, I was like, how would I... And I was asking myself those same questions, and I couldn't really think of a good answer for any of it.
A former coworker of ours... I think it was on Instagram or tweeted it. I think it was on Instagram. Said that he got the platinum, and I was like, "Ooh, it's doable." Is there someone I know that got it?
Yeah, somebody on my friends list has it. So it's. I mean, it's definitely.
It might be the same mutual friend. I'm just going to be honest.
Yeah. You know, it might be. I mean, it seems doable. I just don't know if, like, do I want to do that, or do I want to, like, I'm going to spend some time in Streets of Rage 4. Obviously,
Yeah.
I might check out Gears Tactics. I don't know if that's.
But this is the thing about Final Fantasy VII. Like, I know, like, it was a 40-hour game, right? We'll just say 40 hours. How much of that was cutscenes, though? Like, you can skip the cutscenes now. We've seen what it is. So that's part of it, too. That's, like, making it a little bit easier on the decision of whether or not I want to do it in the hard mode.
Yeah.
I know they throw different things at you in hard mode. Like, I know a specific Coliseum fight now has that fucking, like, toad. What's that? The dude with the knife that just insta-kills you.
Oh, my God, dude. What a great fucking boss fight.
Yeah,
that
well,
was.
one of them is floating in the Coliseum boss fight.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, I dig that. I think that's it for the week. I don't know what else I got.
Yeah, nope. Gears Tactics. I think that's going to be my main event. Keep plugging away at that.
Maybe we'll get a shadow drop on. I don't know. Maybe not. But
it's going to be some Game Pass related.
Yeah. I do have one more little baby one that I think.
Little baby.
I mean, little tease for next week. I'll follow up, but I think I'm going to beat Ring Fit this week.
Beat it.
It did the thing. There's a list of worlds, and it keeps scrolling down. It always shows you the next world, and it's always question marks. And it scrolled down, and now I see there's not another one after the one after the one I'm on.
Wow.
I gotta,
all right.
Yeah. So I know there's like New Game Plus stuff, but I think I will have the core story done by next week.
I'm playing the hardest difficulty of Ring Fit currently, of trying to find one.
I was in a Target last week and I looked for you, and I got really excited because I walked around the corner and I saw Labo boxes, and I was like, oh. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Well, I'll just say it on air. If you see it, just spend the money. I'm good for it.
Oh, yeah.
It's ready to go.
I was ready to grab it right then if they had it, but fucking Labo. Well, you can check out this episode. I mean, you already did, but if you want to see the cool art, I don't think everybody gets to see the cool art all the time unless you follow on Twitter or you go check out the website. But go to thefreecheese.com. You can see, stuff like Aloy as a Juggalo, if that's something that you've been interested in. I can't promise what this week's will be because I don't know yet, but you can check those out. You can follow us on Twitter. The Free Cheese is at Some Free Cheese. Matt is at MattyIce131, and I am at The Free Cheese. Send us an email. I'm going to do my best to work on talking more better next week. Send us an email, podcast at thefreecheese.com. That's it, Matt. I think.
Oh, who's going to win Money in the Bank?
Oh, the one.
Got it.
What are the options? What do I got?
All right. So do you know how to do in this match? I'm going into this a little bit now.
I'm just going to say John Cena. Undertaker. Undertaker.
No, it's not going to be Undertaker.
All right, it'll be Undertaker. Bautista.
Climb the corporate ladder. That's the tagline to the match.
Make it look like Bautista.
I think we have an episode title.
There it is. All right, we'll be back next week. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, listener, for listening. Bye.